port opened almost exactly 140 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe 143 years ago. So it's actually a large open-air museum, and it's got preserved historical buildings. And when you go there, it feels like you're stepping back and taking a time machine back to the early 1900s. You've got all of this old-style architecture, these beautiful buildings, and there's a lot of things that you can do there as well that will give you that genuine time machine feeling as well.
Right, right. I actually had a chance to go to the Incheon Urban History Museum once for interpretation, and I got to know about like the history of how this place came to be. And we do have sort of like a divided, there's a reason why these places are very colorful. And they were divided by like sections, different countries, like areas as well. But yeah, it's good to know. And I think that place that I just mentioned, the Urban History Museum, is also a go-to spot when you do visit this open port area. But other than that, I guess there are fun programs ready for
Absolutely.
right?
There are so many things that you can do when you're visiting the area. One of my favorite things to do is to go and visit the nearby Chinatown, very, very close by, where you can go and indulge in delicious foods like jjajangmyeon, but not just any jjajangmyeon. We also have baekjjajangmyeon, which is this white version of jjajangmyeon that doesn't have chunjang that goes into it as well. So it doesn't have this black preserved soybean paste. It's actually a very special locality that is specific to the area. And it comes with this delicious, delicious, delicious savory flavor. That's really, really nice, and you got to enjoy it. And when we want to go and enjoy the place we have Shinpo International Market as well. So when you go there as well, there's other things that you need to enjoy. We've also got our crispy, sweet and spicy 닭강정. So 닭강정 is this delicious, I guess, sweet and sour fried chicken dish that you can get in Korea as well.
Not just fried, but you have that sauce that gives the kick.
Delicious glaze, and it's just so delicious. But that's enough for food. I'm sure you're curious about things that you can do when you're there as well.
Yeah, exactly. What activities, programs can we enjoy here, other than the urban museum that I just told you about?
Okay, so when we are there and we want to have our time machine experience, one of the things that you have to do is you can go and rent these retro outfits and take amazing photos as well. So we've got one that's popped up on the screen as well.
I wanted to try out one of those.
Oh, you haven't done it before?
No, I haven't. Have you?
No, but maybe we should go and take a trip. Help each other take some nice photos and stuff. So when you've got all of this history where all of these different countries were accessing Korea through the Incheon port, it means that you naturally have this mix of cultures, and you have a mix of cultures that come from the past as well. Now, another thing that you have to do when you're there is you can visit these vintage flea markets and go on retro tours as well. So we're looking at some images of these retro-looking markets. And I think this is also the area that they shoot a lot of films and dramas that are set in this period as well. Okay, vintage flea markets and the retro alleys. I love those vibes. I love the vibes. And like, even if you just look at the right photo, we have like this kind of like old school touristy vibe. You can see it on a lot of drama sets or movie sets. So going there and then immediately coming out and having kind of this modern street with lots of flea markets and vintage items available for sale as well. It's absolutely a vibe.
Okay, so I think these places are better to check out during the day, I guess, if you want to really feel those vibes of the alleys.
I think if you want to feel the alleys, maybe during daytime. And if you're going for the food adventure, nighttime might be the perfect time to visit as well.
Yeah, and what else can we do during the night?
Yeah, nighttime, we've got this amazing thing. We have these night media art and light shows. Now, I've seen these a few different times. It is such a nice vibe, especially, again, we are in spring season. The temperatures are perfect. It's perfect to go for a walk and just check things out. Right now, if you go and see these light shows, you'll just feel so energized and so amazing. And the thing is, a lot of these experiences that are happening, they're actually only happening this weekend only. Again, we have that festival that's popping up this weekend, 28th to 29th. It is the perfect time that you got to visit.
Okay, so it's just 2 days this weekend if you want to go check that out. The light facade, I guess, right? Okay, and what else can we check out there? Are there any other must-visit spots, perhaps?
Yeah, so there's also this other thing. So we have the Devil Hotel, Daebul Hotel, sorry.
Okay.
So it's the first first ever Western-style hotel that was originally raised here in 1888. And a lot of the people who were visiting here through Incheon Port, they stayed there as well.
Oh, and apparently they still have the hotel rooms remaining there.
Yes, absolutely. So they are remaining just as they used to be. And a lot of, I guess, people that are coming from banking, like especially a lot of Japanese visitors who are coming through to Korea, they use the place as well.
And they're still there, from what I learned,
Yes.
in the Urban Museum as well.
That is correct.
Yeah, so like you said, because this is a time machine theme, I guess, if you do go visit this place, you can take a look at the buildings, like the banks, whatnot, that were actually used back in those days. You can feel those old vibes as they are, which is a pretty unique experience, right? Okay, and are there any other sort of spots? You've told us about the foods, and I have actually been to that Chinatown area. I haven't tried the white jjajangmyeon, but I did try one of their famous jjajangmyeons in the area. But are there any other like areas that we must visit around this port?
Okay, so very close, essentially parallel to Incheon Port, we actually have Wolmido, Wolmi Island.
Yes, very
over there,
popular.
it's like this, essentially this outdoor, no need to pay for an entry, amusement park that you can go to. And one of the most famous things to do there, of course, we've got the Ferris wheel. There's lots of different rides. But a very uniquely Korean experience you can go is the disco pang-pang, which is this like twirling seat thing where you sit down and then you just try to hang on for your life. And people are getting hyped up from the MC as well. So Disco Pang Pang in Wolmido, which is right next door. It's absolutely an amazing place.
Do you like these rides, sort of rides?
I love them, but I don't know if my age group is allowed to be on them anymore.
I think you are allowed, but it's just for me, like my body wouldn't take it anymore. When I was younger, I guess, I didn't get dizzy, whatnot. But now, although it looks really fun, I don't think I'll be able to enjoy it. But it's such a fun experience for all the younger people out there who do want to find out a new sort of date place or where they can hang out with their friends, perhaps, right?
And then there's also another thing there that I haven't ridden yet. I've always seen it, but I never line up for it. We've got the Viking as well.
Okay.
It's like this ship that goes up and down and extreme like G-force and gravity.
Also very scary.
Yeah.
Not really good with these rides anymore.
You're not good with the scary rides anymore?
Not anymore. It's going to give me like butterflies. Yeah, but they do have the seat belts, but they're also shaky and loose. So it doesn't feel secure. But
sure
like scientifically, they are secure, but it just feels emotionally, psychologically.
If anything, that'll probably give a bit more thrill, right? You know?
I guess.
It's like, okay, hang on for my dear life. We got this. We're good.
Well, that's like the experience they want, actually, that thrill. That scariness.
And if you want maybe something a bit more calm as well, the thing is when you're going into Wolmido, one of the ways you can get in is by taking the sea train. So it's this very slow-paced, amazing experience that takes you around the entire island, and you can get off in the middle where you go and enjoy these rides in the middle of Wolmido as well.
Now this is more like my cup of tea.
This is more your pace as well.
The chill, slow ride.
It's so nice because there's so many different things you can see there. There's these giant, I guess, pipe things that have all these amazing artworks painted on them as well. It's just a lot more chill and I think a bit more family friendly than going on to the Disco Pang Pang. Let's go.
I would pick this one as my go-to ride. But is it easy to get to this area?
Yes, it's very easy. You can access this entire area from Incheon Station. So you can get there easily from Seoul, or if you're already in Incheon. It's very easy to get to, and it's great if you have a car as well. You can just go there for a day trip, come back and enjoy.
Okay. I should try out for a day trip with my car, I guess. All right, so from that romantic nights at Deoksugung to the vibrant streets of Incheon's open port area, today really did feel like a time machine travel or a time travel with you, Jambo. Well, thank you so much for all those great stories and the places that we can visit over the weekend. And we'll see you again next week.
See you next week. Vroom, vroom.
All right, so we'll have to sign off right there with our last song. It is 그러나 꽃이었다, Still a Flower by CN Blue. Shall we say goodbye together?
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye. Keep crunching.
자국이 지워져가 그 자리엔 그림자만 남았고 무너져도 아름답던 찬란하게 피어나던 순간을 잊어가 짓밟혀 얼룩지고 상처만 남았고 오래도록 잔향만을 껴안은 채 버텨 숨쉬어 그러나 나는 그러나 끝내 향기를 품은 세상 속에 빈 곳 그렇게 나는 그렇게 결국 난 눈물로 젖은 땅 위에 피어난 따뜻한 봄 날 꼭 안아줘 너와 같은 꽃 Flowers of the asphalt so도 슬픔 속에 자란 그러나 꽃이었다 사라진 그 이름 사랑과 믿음은 수렁에 빠져 영원한 피하지 못할 외로움 한 줄기의 빛이란 말은 노래 가사일 뿐 누군가가 쓴 허구일 뿐 위로되지 않았어 얼룩지고 상처만 남았고 오래도록 잔향만을 껴안은 채 버텨 숨쉬어 그러나 나는 그러나 끝내 향기를 품은 세상 속에 빈 곳 그렇게 나는 그렇게 결국 난 눈물로 젖은 땅 위에 피어난 따뜻한 봄 날 꼭 안아줘 너와 같은 꽃 Flowers of the asphalt so도 슬픔 속에 자란 그러나 꽃이었다 햇살 먹은 꽃 아침에 활짝 핀 꽃 따뜻한 이 봄에 온기를 담은 나야 눈에도 띄지 않고 누구도 몰라도 오래도록 진한 향을 껴안은 채 버텨 숨쉬어 그러나 나는 그러나 끝내 향기를 품은 세상 속에 빈 곳 그렇게 나는 그렇게 결국
How to survive in Korea. Weddings. Step 0. Attire. As a guest, dress formal to business casual. Avoid wearing all white, shorts or going topless. Step 1. Arrival time. Arrive 30 minutes prior to the wedding ceremony. Too many cars, too many halls, too many people. There are many twists and turns. Take pictures and shake hands. And write your name vertically, not horizontally, in the guest book. Step 2. Or, shibor. 50,000 won, 100,000 won, 150,000 won. Cash gifts are given in these units. Decide on the amount based on your relationship. Write your name vertically on the envelope. Step 3. Wedding etiquette. Fill up the front row. Guests have 3 duties to fulfill: clapping, cheering, and taking pictures. Step 4. Dining. Take off your jacket. This will be your seat from now on. Start with the not your everyday delicacies. Galbijjim. Yes. Bosa. Yes. Chili shrimps. Definitely yes. Kimbap. Yeah. Only if you can't live without it. No need to pile up food. You have more than one opportunity. Did you survive the wedding? Wait. Did someone catch your eye? What are you waiting for? You're looking fine today.
아리랑 TV 창립 30주년을 정말 진심으로 축하드립니다. 우리의 문화를 정말 세계에 널리 울려 퍼지게 만들어주시는 정말 엄청난 일들을 하고 계시는데요.
아리랑 TV의 30주년 너무나도 축하드립니다. 벌써 창립 30주년이시네요. 대한민국을 알리는 아리랑 TV 너무나도 사랑하고요. 응원합니다.
창립 30주년을 축하합니다. 전 세계 대한민국을 알리는 아리랑 TV 응원합니다.
30주년이라는 긴 세월을 이렇게 걸어왔다면 그 축하받을 만한 일이고 앞으로 더욱더 발전할 수 있으면 좋겠습니다.
월 씌우고 절 씌우고 지화가 좋다. 아리랑 TV 창립 30주년 축하합니다. 월 씌우고.
Introducing Korean broadcast content that you won't be able to stop watching. For weary modern souls, Dr. Romantic, the quirky genius doctor of Puldam Hospital, prescribes heartwarming tales of humanity. A couple together for 7 years sees their rose-tinted glasses shatter. Can they keep their relationship alive? Discover the raw stories of youth, work, and love. Beyond what social media can show, experience the vibrant Korea through its hidden gems. Mama, the ultimate K-pop festival for global fans. Find your star in a feast of trendy music and electrifying performances. Now, the whole world enjoys it together.
U.S. President Donald Trump has extended his deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, saying Washington will hold off striking power plants in the country for 5 days. He also said talks between the U.S. and Iran have seen progress, but Iranian officials denied there were negotiations. President Lee convened a cabinet meeting this morning, calling on officials to establish an emergency response system in response to conflict in the Middle East. He also vowed to take a hard line against price collusion and urged efforts to reduce the use of private vehicles on workdays. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has formally labeled South Korea the most hostile state and said the regime's status as a nuclear weapon state will never change, vowing continued efforts to confront what he described as hostile forces. Hello and thanks for joining us on Arirang News. We begin today with the latest on the conflict in the Middle East. The 48-hour countdown for threatened military strikes by the U.S. against Iran's energy infrastructure is on hold. President Donald Trump has ordered a 5-day suspension, citing preliminary negotiations with Tehran aimed at resolving the ongoing conflict. Iranian officials, however, denied that any talks are taking place. Our Kim Do-yeon starts us off.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced a sudden shift in military plans against Tehran on Monday, saying that talks between the U.S. and Iran have seen progress. While Iran denied that discussions had taken place, President Trump ordered a 5-day postponement of threatened attacks targeting Iranian energy infrastructure. Trump had given Iran 48 hours to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face attacks on its power plants, but has shifted his stance as that deadline approaches.
I think there's a very good chance we're going to end up in a deal. And so we're giving it 5 days, and then we're going to see where that takes us.
The U.S. leader indicated that initial contact could pave the way for a permanent resolution to the ongoing conflict and address Washington's core demands.
So we are now having really good discussions. They started last night, a little bit, the night before that. And I think they're very good. They want peace. They've agreed they will not have a nuclear weapon.
The suspension is being closely watched by U.S. allies in the region. After a call with President Trump, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu emphasized that any diplomatic outcome must secure his country's strategic goals.
President Trump believes there is a possibility to leveraging the mighty achievements obtained by the IDF and the U.S. military in order to realize the goals of the war in a deal that will preserve our vital interests.
Tehran, however, remains firm that Trump's claims are fake news, with officials accusing Washington of fabricating the talks to buy time. The Iranian military also dismissed Western intelligence reports about the deployment of explosives in regional waterways and reaffirmed its control of the Strait of Hormuz.
Given this level of control and capability, there is no need to lay mines in the Persian Gulf. However, if necessary, we will use all available means to ensure security.
With the 5-day suspension now in effect, Washington's deadline for a negotiated resolution has been extended to this Saturday. 김도현, 아리랑 뉴스.
And stocks rose and oil prices plunged after U.S. President Donald Trump said further strikes on Iran's energy infrastructure will be postponed pending negotiations. The Dow Jones Industrial Average on Monday climbed 631 points, or 1.38%, while the S&P 500 gained 1.15%, and the Nasdaq rose 1.38%. The rebound helped halt a recent market slide, with the Nasdaq having closed near correction territory Friday. In energy markets, Brent crude fell nearly 11% to settle at $99.94 per barrel, its first close below $100 since March 11th. U.S. crude dropped more than 10% to $88.13 per barrel, after prices had hit their highest level since July 2022 on Friday. On the local front, President Lee Jae-myung has called on his officials to establish an emergency response system to deal with the fallout from the war in the Middle East. During Tuesday's cabinet meeting, he said that the government will update the fuel price cap rule and announce it later this week. The president also vowed to strongly punish any attempts of price collusion, adding that the prosecution has launched investigations into oil refiners. He also urged for a reduction in private vehicle use on workdays and said that public institutions will adopt a system limiting use based on the last digit of license plate numbers. South Korea's producer prices increased for the 6th consecutive month in February, driven primarily by rising global oil prices. The Bank of Korea said this morning that the producer price index for February stood at 123.25. This represents a 0.6% increase from the previous month and a 2.4% jump from a year earlier. The central bank attributes this increase to rising global crude oil prices, which rose by more than 10% in February compared to January. Consequently, domestic coal and petroleum products rose 4.0% overall. Specifically, prices for diesel and naphtha spiked 7.4% and 8.7% respectively. Financial and insurance activities also surged 5.2%, largely due to higher stock brokerage commissions. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has declared South Korea the regime's most hostile state, warning of harsh retaliation if Pyongyang is provoked. The remarks came as Russia's Vladimir Putin congratulated Kim on his re-election, signaling deepening ties between Moscow and Pyongyang. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has formally labeled South Korea the most hostile state and warned of merciless consequences if Pyongyang is provoked. According to the Korean Central News Agency on Tuesday, Kim made the remarks on the final day of the first session of the Supreme People's Assembly, declaring that Seoul has now been officially designated as North Korea's principal adversary. He warned that South Korea would pay the price for any provocation and reaffirmed that North Korea's status as a nuclear weapons state will never change, vowing continued efforts to confront what he described as hostile forces. The comments came as Kim secured a third consecutive term as chairman of the State Affairs Commission, the country's top policy guidance body created in 2016. His re-election was confirmed during the parliamentary session held on Sunday. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulated Kim on his re-election and expressed hope for deeper cooperation between Moscow and Pyongyang. In a message released by the Kremlin on Monday, Putin praised Kim's role in strengthening what he called a friendly and allied relationship between the two countries, adding that continued collaboration would serve their fundamental national interests. Ties between Russia and North Korea have strengthened in recent years. The two countries signed a mutual defense treaty in 2024, and North Korea has sent troops to support Russia's war effort in Ukraine. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov also said Kim has a standing invitation to visit Russia, noting that Moscow would welcome him once diplomatic channels finalize the timing. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
President Lee Jae-myung chaired a high-level defense meeting on Monday and called for stronger defense capabilities as geopolitical uncertainty continues to grow. Our Blue House correspondent Song Yoo-jin reports.
President Lee Jae-myung has again underscored the importance of strong self-reliant defense capabilities.
그리고 이 국방은 누구에게도 맡겨서는 안 될 우리 스스로가 완벽하게 최종적으로 책임져야 될 핵심입니다. 우리가 어떤 상황이 처하더라도 누구의 도움도 받지 않고 스스로
Lee presided over the first Central Integrated Defense Council meeting of his administration at the Blue House on Monday. The council convenes officials from the government, the military, and the civilian sector to assess the country's defense readiness and review key policy outcomes. Under South Korean law, it must meet at least once a year. There, President Lee described self-reliant defense as the key to South Korea's defense system, citing an, quote, increasingly complex and rapidly changing geopolitical environment.
민, 관, 군, 경, 소방 등 모든 방위 요소가 유사시 한 몸처럼 일사불란하게 대응할 수 있어야 국가와 국민을 지켜낼 수 있습니다.
He called for being better prepared so the country can defend itself under any circumstances, but while also expressing confidence in South Korea's capabilities. Lee noted that the country's annual defense spending is about 1.4 times North Korea's GDP and that its military strength ranks 5th in the world. The president's remarks come as calls for a stronger self-reliant defense have grown recently, especially after reports that some U.S. forces' Korea assets could be deployed to the Middle East in response to the U.S. war in Iran.
국제 질서의 영향에 따라서 외부의 지원이 없어질 경우 우리의 뜻과 다르게, 우리의 의지와 다르게 그럴 경우는 얼마든지 발생할 수 있죠.
Also, the Pentagon's latest national defense strategy states that, quote, South Korea is capable of taking primary responsibility for deterring North Korea with critical but more limited U.S. support. The fact that President Lee personally chaired the meeting, typically led by the Prime Minister, highlights his focus on strengthening an integrated defense system. As the situation in the Middle East continues and inter-Korean relations remain strained. Song Yoo-jin, Arirang News.
Historical drama The King's Warden has topped Korea's all-time box office revenue. As of Monday, the movie had made a total of 142.5 billion Korean won, or $94.6 million US. The film attracted over 800,000 moviegoers nationwide over the weekend, holding on to the #1 spot for 7 consecutive weeks and bringing its total admissions to 14.75 million viewers. It now ranks 3rd on Korea's box office chart, behind The Admiral, Roaring Currents, and Extreme Job. The King's Warden is the first 10 million viewer hit for director Jang Hang-jun. It tells the story of the exile of the young King Tanjong during the Joseon Dynasty. On the retail front, BTS fans are fueling remarkable domestic consumption with their purchase of K-pop related products. Our Kim Junong takes a look.
These are characters inspired by BTS members, items that targeted fans visiting Seoul for the concert. Shelves filled with merchandise featuring their photos and names. This is K-Wave, a K-pop specialty store inside a duty-free shop in Myeongdong, one of Seoul's busiest shopping districts.
Items like magnets and puzzles kept selling out, even after repeated restocking. We've also seen a more diverse mix of customers, with more visitors from outside Asia, and the impact extended beyond our K-pop booth to nearby food and fashion sections.
Since early in the morning, fans have been coming in, eager to connect with their favorite artists.
I came to Korea for the free BTS concert. There are many places selling merchandise in Myeongdong, but I prefer this store because it's well organized and has official goods.
Dedicated entirely to K-pop merchandise, stores like this are becoming major destinations for fans visiting Korea. And the impact is visible in the numbers, with a sharp increase in visitors ahead of the concert. Foreign shopper numbers at the duty-free shop rose 32% from a week earlier, while BTS merchandise sales at a K-pop specialty store increased more than 5-fold. The impact reached beyond duty-free shops, with spending spilling over into the broader retail sector. At one convenience store chain, sales at 10 outlets near Gwanghwamun nearly quadrupled compared to the same days a week earlier. Stores located closer to the concert venue saw an even sharper increase, with sales jumping more than 6 times. This surge across the retail sector underscores the distinctive nature of fan-driven consumption.
Fan-driven spending is typically more intense, reflecting a stronger interest in Korea than that of general consumers. This demand is also spreading beyond BTS to other products with distinct Korean elements. If the trend continues, it could spread to general overseas travelers through social media, supporting long-term positive spillovers.
ARMY-nomics is now visible in the data, showing how a cultural phenomenon is translating into a tangible economic impact. Kim Junong, Arirang News.
In a city in Gyeonggi-do province, autonomous buses have begun navigating the streets without drivers touching the wheel. Our Cha Yun-kyung tells us more.
Inside a bus navigating downtown, the steering wheel turns on its own without a driver touching it. The vehicle even executes right turns in sync with traffic signals. This is a level 3 self-driving bus, where a human driver intervenes only during emergencies. Currently, these buses operate during the day and late at night in areas with limited public transit access. Since its launch in April last year, approximately 25,000 passengers have used the service.
Here's the number 5 bus that goes to Bumgye Station. But this one is much faster. So, unless it's a Monday, I take this bus almost every day.
Anyang City has also introduced a level 4 autonomous shuttle. A striking feature of this vehicle is the complete absence of a driver's seat and side mirrors. To give the public a hands-on experience, the shuttle operates 3 round trips daily along a 3-kilometer designated route.
We believe that the success of autonomous driving in Korea depends on the stable integration of this system. Therefore, the role of local governments is absolutely crucial.
Anyang City plans to reduce dispatch intervals and expand the routes into densely populated residential areas. As cities like Seongnam and Suwon also introduce autonomous vehicles, the technological competition among local governments is heating up. Cha Yun-kyung, Arirang News.
This is the world now, bringing you everything you need to know from around the globe. A new report released on Monday shows that the timing of joint U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran on February 28th was changed by newly surfaced intelligence. According to Reuters, a meeting between Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and top military officials at his Tehran compound was moved from the night of the 28th to the morning, narrowing an already fragile window for a potential decapitation strike. That shift set off an urgent call between U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump had already approved a strike against Iran in principle, but was still debating the timing. Netanyahu pressed that the moment might never return, with intelligence now showing Iran's leadership in one place. Trump ultimately made the call that triggered Operation Epic Fury and killed Khamenei. In the U.S., a passenger jet landing at New York's LaGuardia airport crashed into a fire truck on the runway, killing both pilots. The Air Canada flight collided with the vehicle just before midnight Sunday as it touched down from Montreal. Officials say the fire truck had clearance to cross the runway while responding to another aircraft. Air traffic control recordings capture a last-second warning telling the truck to stop. The impact destroyed the cockpit, killed both pilots, and injured dozens on board and on the ground. Investigators are looking into how runway coordination failed. In Colombia, a military aircraft carrying more than 120 people crashed in the country's southwest. The Hercules C-130 transport plane went down just after takeoff on Monday near Puerto Leguizamo in Putumayo province. Officials say 121 people were on board, mostly soldiers. At least one person died and 77 were injured, with rescue efforts still ongoing. Authorities say the aircraft went down just 2 kilometers from the airport, but they have not confirmed the cause. Colombian pop star Shakira will perform in Madrid this September, building a custom venue for tens of thousands of fans. Organizers say the singer will stage 6 shows in September at a purpose-built site holding up to 50,000 people. The venue will be built at Madrid's Iberdrola Music Grounds on the city's outskirts and will operate under the name Macondo Park. Promoters say the project will center on Latin culture. Chu Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Spring is really settling in now. Yesterday, Seoul climbed above 20 degrees Celsius, meaning there was no need for a jacket to go outdoors. While today will be slightly cooler but still mild with a high of 17 degrees Celsius here in the capital. In fact, this week will feel more like late April. Meanwhile, the air is getting drier. Dry weather alerts are being in place across many regions, including here in the capital. And with the risk of wildfires increasing, extra caution is needed. Also, air quality continues to be a concern. With stagnant air and additional dust moving in on northeasterly winds, skies will remain quite hazy today in most parts of Korea under lots of clouds coverage. And this afternoon, highs in most parts will be in the upper teens, getting up to 17 degrees here in Seoul, Gwangju, getting up to 20 degrees Celsius. Then rain will begin late tonight on Jeju, spread to the southern coast early tomorrow morning before tapering off during the day.
That's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.
congratulations to Arirang TV on 30 years of quality journalism. For 3 decades, your channel has provided valuable information and perspectives on Korea's society, economy and culture. My very best wishes for continued success over the years ahead.